panel members and the honorable moderator, I would like to give you a quick brief about the panel session. Wellness Tech, the future of employees' well-being. A very crucial aspect in HR, to be very honest with you, and I'm sure this is going to be a great panel session with great insights on employee well-being. Now, without taking further time, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the honorable panel members. Joining us first on stage with a big round of applause from all of you, Captain Vipul Sharma, DGM-HR, Admin and IT, Mitsubishi Heavy Industries India. A big round of applause to Captain Sharma. Yeah, Captain Sharma, please come in, sir. Can we have a big round of applause for Captain Sharma? Captain Vipul Sharma, ladies and gentlemen, DGM-HR, Admin and IT, Mitsubishi Heavy Industries India. Please have your seat, Captain. Joining next in the panel, Dr. Nirupama Srivastava, CHRO from Kreate Energy. A big round of applause to Dr. Srivastava. Ma'am, please come to the stage. Wonderful to have you here. Joining us next in this panel, Mr. Banerjee, Group Head HR, IL&FS Group. A big round of applause to Mr. Banerjee. Welcome to the panel, sir. Please have your seat. Joining us next in the panel, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Raju Foujdar, Global CHRO from 𝐷𝐿 Pharma Group of Companies. A big round of applause to Dr. Foujdar. Welcome to the panel, sir. Please have your seat. Joining us next in the panel, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Jawahar G, Executive Director HR, Power Finance Corporation. A big round of applause to Dr. Jawahar. Welcome to the panel, sir. Please have your seat. And now, ladies and gentlemen, would like to call the honorable moderator for this panel, Mr. Yashwant Chauhan, Chief Human Resource Officer from GAIL. A big round of applause to Yashwant ji. So Yashwant ji, all over to you. First panel of the day. I know a lot of expectations, but I think you will be doing a fantastic job here. All the best for the great session.
Okay, very good morning to everyone, and warm greetings to all our esteemed panelists from varied industry backgrounds. It is indeed my proud, pleasure and privilege and honor to be here as part of this great summit of India HR Summit 2024. The topic, which is there for our panel, which is about, wellness tech, the future of employees' well-being. Is a very pertinent one, and my compliments to the organizing team for setting the a great theme for the panel. Just to give an overview of the employee well-being, we all know how important is the employee well-being, right? It is not just a trend, I would say, but it is actually a strategic priority for the organizations, right? That is what we need to understand first. The second part is that employee well-being should be ideally a ultimate compass for the organization, right? Because it is essentially a bedrock of your sustainability, right? Because with the employee well-being, which actually if you look at even the global goals as well, good health and well-being is one of the goals of the sustainable development goals, right? And from that perspective, the well-being as a whole, which is about the holistic well-being, is really, really critical. So it is not just about your physical well-being, but it is also about your mental well-being, emotional well-being, your social well-being, right? So there are so many aspects which are equally important. I would like to, quote I think earlier also, our esteemed speaker, he mentioned that, the loss of $8.8 trillion, right, which happened to the global economy, which is 9% of the global GDP, right? So if you look at that, it is really huge, and we really need to understand as business leaders first, how do we translate the entire well-being strategy into the organizational strategy to drive the organizational effectiveness. With these words, I would like to first, move on to our esteemed panelists and just draw their attention to some of the important areas. I know that they are having a very rich experience, much more than me, in fact, And collectively, I think it's 100 and plus years of experience, I think, on this panel. So I'm really deeply grateful for your presence out here. My first question would be to Joy Banerjee sir, who comes from the ILNFS group. So question is, how do we address the work-life balance and boundaries, right, and avoid burnout and fatigue at the workplace?
Yeah, thank you so much for the question. And first and foremost, that 100 years sounded as if we are from dinosaur age. So we are all very young. So a very warm good morning to all of you. I think it's a wonderful audience, and thank you for putting the first question to me. So I think what's most important is we are all in one department in which the first letter is human. Do we all agree? Yes, no? Right? So when we talk about humans, what's most important for us is in our day-to-day life, what happens is we tend to forget that element from our life. And it's important for us that we bring in that context in setting up anything for us, and that automatically sets in every other thing. So what happens is people do come up to us and say that, I'm getting burned out, I don't have time, I don't know how to give time to myself and my family and my work. So it all starts from there. So I think I'm reminded of a very simple example which was shown some years back when Stephen Covey had done a small workshop. And what he does is he brings in 2 jars and he says that fill it up with rocks and small rocks and sand and so on and so forth. So what does that teach us? It teaches us that it's all about prioritizing. And I think as human resource professionals, we first have to prioritize ourselves, that we are able to address the larger rocks rather than focusing on the smaller pebbles or the sand, which kind of takes up a lot of our time. So what we have done in our company, in fact, is we have made things very simple for people. And we have said that first, let's break all rules. Right? So what happens is people get tied up with rules that can I do this, can I do that, can I have this, can I have that. So we are in a completely environment of a hybrid work culture, and thanks to COVID. So what has happened is people have much more flexibility. So we tell them that you choose what you want to do. And I think as human resource, we should be focused more on what is going to be the outcome rather than looking at how it has been done. So many a times as human resource, we face this challenge from many business heads who say that, our people have to be in office. They have to be sitting in front of us. So I think that is a bias that we need to break. And once we start breaking that bias and we say that focus more on productivity. So the simple logic or the simple formula for doing that is very simply put in 3 simple elements. The first element is we know our people. So that's very clear to us, that we know this is our people, these are the resources that we have to manage. The second element for us is we know what kind of profits we want to generate. That's very clear to us. It's been given, it's a strategic decision which has been taken. And good thing is HR has a place in the board, so we know exactly what is the objective of the organization. So we know that part very well. The third part is, which is our main area is to focus on, is what is going to be the key strengths that they need to perform. And that is where I'm talking about the potential. So if we have all these 3 things, I think the outcome, the net outcome of that is productivity. And that's what everybody is talking about. And if that productivity is in place, rest all other things can automatically fall in place. So the secret mantra or secret sauce for this particular thing is, if we start focusing on these 3 elements, automatically the work-life balance, automatically the amount of fatigue, and automatically the amount of engagement that people have gets addressed. So first, make it simple. Second, focus on the 3 elements. And last and not the least is let people take their own decision.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Nirupama Srivastava, you come from the energy sector background. We would love to hear your perspective on this. And my request to panelists would be that, just keep it a little shorter so that we are on time and we are also inclusive of the audience for almost 20 minutes. Thank you.
I feel work-life balance is one thing which is important for everyone in the organization. And this comes in the format of policies, processes, and the kind of policies and culture you wanted to inculcate in the system. That is very important in the organization. As Mr. Joy has already mentioned, that first is human, because you are dealing with humans. So once you are clear what is your objective, where you wanted to go in terms of top line, in terms of bottom line of the business, and how you are going to maintain this as a process so that you should have the optimum utilization of resources, you should have the best people. I remember when I joined my group in 2015, our attrition rate used to be 45%, very, very high. But in next 2 years, we just completed the whole process and we have reached to 10% from 45 to 10%. And from there, we reached to nowadays we are ranging in between 2.5 to 5%. So complete turnout we did in terms of policies, in terms of benchmarking of policy processes. Then we also try to align our people in terms of performance, because performance is one thing which comes out so everybody is happy in the organization. Then we also move from 6 days to 5 days format. And then because in the since energy is an essential commodity, so my management used to feel like people has to be there. So that also we tried to do. In 6 months, I created a pilot in the organization. 6 months, and wherever I was finding that some problem is coming, I used to speak to business and, sir, please look into that. So because this is again pilot model which is going on. And then after 6 months, everything was online. Now productivity has gone, and just in 2 years, productivity has also gone just double. And most important point which I would like to mention, that we were felicitated for work-life balance by NDTV Mercer, where almost 1,000 companies had participated. So that was a great achievement, I feel it, because if you really work with the people, people are going to support you, and you can achieve anything in the organization.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for those insights. Let me just bring you some data. Why I think this is very important is, as part of one of the project recently, and some of the data which we could just come through. I would like to definitely share that with you, which comes from the Deloitte workplace well-being survey of 2023. It says that most of the organization in most of the organization, only 30% of the people actually exhibit the model behaviors, which actually talks about the toxic environment in our organizations, right? There could be cases of bullying, discrimination, or unrealistic work expectation from the workforce, right? That's one part. Second is about paid time of utilization, right? So only 37% of the organizations are allowing their employees to go for paid time utilization. And even if they go, sometimes, there are cases which are reported of, performance discrimination or not allowing them, right? So all those kinds of scenarios are there. Third, about, ineffective well-being. So we as organizations are actually looking at one-size-fit-all solutions. So we are not looking at the holistic well-being as a whole, right? So that's because of that, almost less than 2/3 of the employees feel that their well-being is taken care, right? And in fact, the well-being aspect of financial and the social is even on a further lower side. The fourth aspect is about unmanageable workload, right? So as organizations, we are stretching too much on employees, right? So only 40% of the people of the organizations are actually, creating the workload which is reasonable, right? So you can have a look at that data also. And last but not the least is the data's dumbed down. So we all know that, in the recent times, the capability of organizations to, compile the data has skyrocketed, right? Obviously because of the technological, disruptions and the magnitude of data that is being created. But I think what is more important is that our ability as organizations to analyze and to apply that data is not proportional. In fact, it is greatly disproportional, right? So with these, some of the data points, I would like to move on to the next question. To our respected panelist, Raju Foujdar, sir, who is from the 𝐷𝐿 Pharma Group. Sir, given this background, how targeted well-being can actually improve the productivity of employees? How targeted well-being can really enhance the productivity? Over to you, sir.
Good morning, everyone. Question is really interesting. So I will just add some data further. I was just going through Harvard Business Review. So it shows the data. In case the employee well-being is being looked after by the organization, in your succession planning, we are able to retain out 50% of the talent. So that is again going to be really great contributor with respect to HR strategy. Okay, as far as we consider the well-being of the employee, it starts with the personal well-being, it then adds the family well-being, financial well-being, career progression well-being, and is the social well-being. And in case we conclude everything, this is basically related to how good the employee is being looked after at work. So these well-beings not only add to our attritions part, but growth as well. I will just quote two examples of my career, wherein we not included only the employees, but their families as well. Especially this was with the 𝐓𝐞𝐞𝐬𝐬 Industries, which is really not very organized organization into footwear. But when we included their families also for well-being through webinars and all, the attrition percentage in that unorganized sector also shown us a lot of drop. Coming to my latest organization, I think in the pharma sector, we are the only company having unlimited leave policy. There is no restriction on leaves. You can take any amount of leave if this is genuine, approved by your boss. When I was advocating this policy, so there was a lot of questions from the operations side, from quality side, even the enabling functions. They said, sir, how we can afford to have both the things? One is, we allow people work from home in almost all verticals. However, in manufacturing that percentage is low, but still we don't deny in case they can support from home. Second, leave being unlimited. We agree, there is always a Pareto diagram which takes place. 80% people are responsible, accountable, they take these leaves very judiciously, 20% might misutilize. But for those 20%, we can't punish the rest 80%. With respect to our operational performance, I would say last 3 years we have shown 59% CAGR growth year on year. So that itself is an example that how performance improves once we look after the well-being of the employees. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Dr. Nirupama, I would like to add something to this.
So once the question of well-being comes, the first point which comes to my mind, why we are focusing so much on well-being these days? Because people are really burning out. And if I look at, I find a lot of pain points are also coming. In fact, 2 days before, I was just walking the corridor and I saw one ambulance. I just went to ask what happened. So somebody was dead, was brought. And when the person came out, he was just sharing that a lot of heart attacks are happening these days. And like people in the age group of 20 to 30, 35, they are dying like anything. So every day this kind of incidents is happening. So this makes me to feel what exactly we should do to protect our people. Why it is so important? Because one way you are losing your own people, another way you are losing your employees. Productivity and everything goes haywire when you have lost your own people. So at Kreate, we try to create a strategy which is based on 4 well-being pillars. We started with physically thriving, emotionally balanced, socially connected, and last but not the least, financially supported. So we started working on all 4 pillars because we feel, and our objective is also to support people in their well-being and happiness. Because we always feel the people who are really happy, supported, they can really take the company forward in a great manner. So in well-being, first aspect, we started working towards that because ours is a global company. So we took number of initiatives at different levels. In our Oman, we have gone for like Pilate and this yoga classes, where we have certified people who are doing morning, evening classes, and they are our employees also. In Singapore, when we have gone, we did a like series of events which we did with the help of external people, and that the person was mainly a athlete from this Olympic. And the way he spoke, starting from ergonomics, talking about your diet, your nutrition, your sleep, your patterns, your exercises, that was really authentic. And this has made people to feel how they should adopt it and why it is so important for them to be authentic with the people. Third thing which we also did in US, we had number of series of programs we did, online, offline, webinars, series, everything was done. But along with that, we have gone for screening of the people also, because that's very important. Week offs, we are having meditation classes, yoga classes, and Zumba, Pilate, all these things we do. But one thing which we took as a practice, that we have to keep our people understand why it is so important for you. In India, we on this health day, we took oath that this year we are going to reduce the cost in the organization minimum by 20%. Our bill should be reduced, and this will happen once your people are fit. So we did a series of programs around that. We started from diet. Diet program was taken in the organization. Everybody was provided this customized diet. And then we did along with that, we have gone for this series of weight reduction program. So people, one way they are getting fitter, another way they are going to be felicitated in the organization. So batch was created in the organization. Week on week, this was going for next 3 months. One. Then we have gone for Pilate, yoga, morning, evening. Then we have gone for cult also. Something was successful, something was not successful, but we tried. Then we have also gone, because during pandemic we felt that a lot of emotional burnout was there, and we tried to support our people through vaccination, because now I'm feeling that it was just gone wrong, because nowadays I'm reading this, but that time it was most essential. So we have gone for vaccination, we have gone for added things also which we can do to help them and support them. And along with that, we did every time for screening of the people also, how we can support them. We brought a policy also in the organization where people, executive health checkup was made mandatory from senior manager and above, 35 years and above. Everybody has to go for a routine checkup. They have to submit the reports wherever we found some problems that we try to address also. Talking about, so complete aspect was taken care, number one. Then we thought in terms of emotional well-being. It is okay not to be okay. Because once you have liberty to speak, you are not judged, you are not stigmatized, you feel open. So for that also we took a lot of initiative. First, e-learning module was created in the organization. That was also done with the help of managers only. And we trained them also, once the problem happens, how you have to identify. You have to support your own people and the people who are reaching near to them. So that also we tried to do. Then we did a lot of initiatives, like suppose in Singapore, we have gone for a life series where we try to enroll them so that they can have a fulfilled life. And then 100 Days of Happiness program was created at the global level, where people were supposed to talk their success stories. They have to talk in terms of various tools which they have used in this period. And along with that, we tried to create some role models and champions also in the organization who should take them forward also in this whole process. Third aspect which we tried to cover in terms of social aspect. because social aspect is equally important. You are happy does not make difference if your family is not happy. So we took number of initiatives in that matter also. We tried to create like child care centers nearby our offices. We tried to create a platform where you can get support in terms of like nannies, your domestic help, your tutors. So like we tried to tie up with various vendors in the through our this platform where people can get support. Even ladies who are coming after like maternity leave 6 months, so our HR team sits with them, try to understand their issues, how we can support them. That everything we try to do. Along with that, we try to take number of policies also for them in terms of GP, GTL, GMC, WC, even social security in the countries where it is mandatory. So everything was done. Along with that, we looked in terms of, because we took for our superannuation from LIC also. So people should feel comfortable that they are safe and secure, and if they are here, they should try to give their 100%. Last but not the least, which is most important, that is financial security. We understood that diverse resources means especially women, they are not very educated in terms of financial matters. So we made tie-up, and like even some role models we tried to create among ourselves from C-suite of our ladies who are in the C-suite section. So they started, this program was meant for ladies and by ladies. This was conducted also by ladies. So with the result, we found that people have started taking a lot of passion, interest. So mutual fund tie-ups, we tried to make tie-up with mutual fund. They start coming to the organization, started giving them present. We tried to make people financially literate. That was the first objective. And once we started, we found that people are taking a lot of interest in that. So overall well-being, once you want it to have in the organization, certainly it takes place. But you have to look for the all aspects. And apart from it, I really look at, if you cannot quantify, you cannot do anything. So my first objective, once I try to go for any program, I try to find out certain metrics which can really make me successful. Once I should be able to complete the whole process, I should have things as per my requirements. So our pay bills, our bills for hospitalization and everything, gone 20% down in last 2 years. Number one. Our productivity in terms of sick leave has gone 15% down. Our productivity overall has increased by 10%. So these were the metrics which I tried to create, and I'm sure I'm successful into that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am, for bringing those diverse perspectives, touching on not just physical, mental, emotional, financial, and also the analytics, bringing into that play. With these, I think we need to move on to our other esteemed panelists, wherein I would like to ask you about that how the different technologies or the application that are being used in the industry, right, are really effective for driving the employee well-being. That's one. And second is, how can we integrate the data, right? Because earlier when the esteemed speaker was talking about the personalization, so how do we integrate that data across the platform, but still create that wow experience for our employees, because that is very critical from the organization success perspective. So how do you think that can be done? I would request Captain Vipul Sharma ji to kindly address this.
Thank you so much, sir, and good morning to all ladies and gentlemen. Wonderful gathering over here. I was very keenly listening to all the points. I think how Nirupama ma'am has shared it and how Foujdar sir, Banerjee sir. So I'll just like to add another perspective to it also. How technology is more important, how we can make the best use of technology, whether technology is really needed, how it is going to simplify things for you. So I'll share in a form of an example that how in my 10 years of Forge career and 14 years of this corporate career, in 14 years what I have tried to implement is being a key HR person, that we have to understand the perspective from company side and from the individual side or the employee side. And you as a HR are the bridge. And this bridge should not flow one way, it has to flow both the ways, right? So creating this two-way bridge, and the ultimate aim is that this bridge by the individual or by the employee should be further taken up further by him. So all the efforts which you are putting in the well-being, be it in a form of technology or be it in form of the physical aspects of it or the, like ma'am said, the financial aspects of it, it has to lead to certain goals. I've been very fortunate wherein we have driven the wellness drives, and we used to call it very fondly the health initiatives. This is something happening before COVID times, where the physical aspects were more. So I am more interested in always, the physical element of it. So we would keep on drawing chalking out the plans, what we should do. And all the initiative which ma'am have taken, I have personally taken in my company, starting with, we were very keen that the physical fitness is the key. And so therefore, we decided that, let's go for Airtel Delhi half marathons. So we initially had like 50 enrollments, and the aim was just not to, make them go run, but to develop a data out of it to once we improve the physical productivity, and we wanted to create those bondings among those individuals so that it could be related to their productivity enhancement and the improvement in the morale. So, of course, subsequently we had, I think when I last was there, then 2017, we had like more than 250 participants with over 100, including ladies and men participating in it. What we saw was the development of those personal bonding. And we felt that that time of time, when you used to go to my MD and share the plans, he will say that Vipul, add more human element to it, go more human element to it. So that's why more humanly driven. We created the diet plans. I personally looked into it. We created the diet plans wherein we would figure out how much calories you need to take, and we would provide to the employees. We hired those fitness expert, dietitians, to figure out. And then it was not just that, okay, you have a diet plan. Then there were individual sessions were organized. And we used to chalk out the data out of it. So I would personally go and at least interact with them, and I found it very fascinating. Subsequently, post-COVID, we got it connected with technology, and there were many sessions which were organized in a manner that people well-being were being taken care of. And we were more data-driven because the data has to come. What company is interested in ROI, what company is effective, whatever efforts you have taken, be it the budgeted ones or the non-budgeted ones, how they are going to impact us. So that was drawing a fine line between you are not doing just a welfare job, but you are doing something which has to improve the overall productivity and the profitability for the company. The best part of it was, I'll try to put it, there's so many things which comes to my mind, that we had taken a step further. We actually went ahead and asked employees, how are you going to relate all those efforts? We give you the gym memberships, we give you the Airtel Delhi half marathon. So are you really transforming them or taking the step forward in doing and improving your own welfare? Are you putting a habit to it? So many good answers came. So many employees come up, and something which in terms of the success stories of the people we would publish in our journals. We had a book, so magazine, monthly magazine. So we put up their stories in the magazine, their success stories. And I would say, by ending it, that technology is important, but how it should simplify our life is the key question. The connect what you want, be the use of technology or be the use of your physical aspect of it, it should lead to you being ultimately a happy person. And the burnouts, as ma'am rightly pointed out, there is so much of burnouts and fatigue happening, the heart attacks, etc., etc. So it all happens, I have this very, my own jargon that don't make work-life boundaries. Work is a very important component of your life. So let life be treated as a life, and work being very important component. So make work your hobby. This is my just a suggestion. And don't take life too seriously, because ultimately once you start enjoying the work, you are going to give the best of the performance. So I'm like all charged up whenever going to office, and I'm going to give my best over here. And once, I come out of it, switch the gear and move into a different mode of the fitness zone. So happy both the ways, post it, during the work and after the work. That's the mantra. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you for bringing those insights, and really compliments to you on touching on the human element of it. We have a very senior, person, Dr. Jawahar, sir, Jawahar sir, who is the executive director from Power Finance Corporation. Sir, I'm sure your perspective is going to be very different because coming from the public sector, it has a very different take on the well-being as a whole. Not just focusing on the employees, but also I think on the stakeholders at large, right? So whether we talk about our vendors, whether we talk about our suppliers, whether we talk about contract labor personals, so looking at the entire people in well-being as a whole. So would you like to share your experience from your great journey? Yeah. So.
Thank you so much and good morning to all of you. First of all, let me confine to the technology and well-being of the employees, and later I'll come to the point which you have talked about. I had been, for quite some time, I had been having a dilemma, that whether technology is really a banner boon, whether technology is helping us in terms of improving our health, or technology is really marring us in damaging our health. This is what I had been in my dilemma, but what I have felt later, that if you use your technology in a smarter way, then it's really your friend. But if you use your technology aimlessly, mindlessly, then it's going to be definitely an enemy. So how we can see, most of our friends have very beautifully, they have explained that the work-life balance, how technology is helping, and many other ways they have explained in a nice way. One thing what I would like to mention here is that, yes, I'll take one particular example of engaging your own application in terms of improving your technology. Every organization has its own way of using its own application to help the employees. So even if you keep an application to remind you saying that, yes, this is the time you have to sleep, this is the time you have to stop working, this is the time you have to shut down your computer. Even if you do that, that application sometimes it disturbs you, because sometimes maybe you have work to do, but there is a reminder that you have to sleep. Today, technology, particularly mobile phone, with many applications in the software, it's really disturbing the sleep of the people. Really, it's a very worrisome. People have got sleep apnea instrument to make use of them, and they have deprivation of sleep, they have deficiency of sleep. They think that they are sleeping, but actually they are not sleeping. Who is responsible for it? There is a REM sleep, non-REM sleep. People think that they are having REM sleep, but they don't have REM sleep. They think that they had a very good sleep. Actually, they don't have very sleep. What's happening in their application, in their computer, in their mobile phone, it keeps ringing in their mind throughout the night when they sleep. Is it a REM sleep? No, it's not REM sleep. It is non-REM sleep. Most of the ailments, even I would say, even cancer, most of the free radicals which is stored in the minds, in the bodies of the people, that's due to the deprivation of insufficient sleep, which people are suffering, but many people don't understand. We talk about using technology to do that. Are we really loyal to the technology or loyal to our body? If we are loyal to our body, we will be loyal to our technology. But that's not happening. sad part is that it's not happening. We think that we have a good sleep, but many of the people don't get good sleep. And many of the ailments, we talk about wellness, not able to be keeping the wellness of the people, and the medical expenses shooting up in the organization. Madam has nicely said that they have reduced the expenditure. But average cost, if you take, I am from public sector, I know the medical expenses are going up tremendously. Doctors are increasing. The proportion of intake of your food and intake of the medicine gap is getting reduced. So, how to use the technology for it? Use the technology as your friend, not as an enemy. Let us make it a point that let us smart enough, let us control our mind to use the technology. Then it will be definitely helpful for us. Let us take some time to care about people, share the information with the people using the technology, and reading and writing about your own well-being. That will definitely help us. I won't like to take much of time. He was talking about how you engage the right vendors, right technology service providers for your well-being. Yes, it's a big challenge for public sector particularly. He's also from public sector. We sail in the same boat. It's very tough nowadays to choose the right partner because the business of L1 is taunting us all the time. We have to maintain a balance. So even if you take a technology, or is it customized or it's readily available, we have to take. If you take the readily available, then it will not be sustaining for a long time. If you have to customize it, you have to update it continuously. How to maintain the balance? It's a big challenge. So let us work for the future by focusing on the self with the conscious use of technology with moderate level of your mindful meditation all the time, which will help us in being conscious to use our technology in a moderate way. With this, I'll conclude. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for bringing those insights. And I think really great points on that sleep, disorders or the issues arising out of that. In fact, in the global wellness industry, which is, I think, almost targeted to $1.5 trillion, wherein, some of the areas which are emerging, are among the like nutrition, health, fitness. The sleep is also one of the areas of priority. And last but not the least is about the mindfulness, right? So on that aspect, I would like to share one more, very interesting aspect in terms of the CXO's priorities, right? Because end of the day, as business leaders, whatever we do, we need to have that channelization into the business strategy, right? So for CXOs, what is the priority? So CXOs for the priority is, revenue growth, innovation, excellence, talent, key talent retention, risk management optimization, cost optimization, all these, different areas are there, right? In fact, some of the initiatives, or some of the recent surveys, stipulates that, with the increase in the engagement, the productivity almost goes up by 22%, right? In fact, some of the initiatives of the Google in the field of the emotional well-being has actually resulted in their workforce being more innovative and also driving their revenue and growth, right? So keeping this perspective in mind, I would definitely like to, throw it open to the panel for another 5 minutes before we go to the audience. Any of you can pitch in and highlight on the aspect of, fostering a culture of well-being, innovation, creativity, and they bring in the sense of belongingness and community in the organization. Just your quick pointers on each one, yeah. To start with, Joy, so yeah. Yeah, thank you.
Wonderful. Okay, so wonderful thoughts on the sleep part. And I think what's important for us is technology is for us. I'm like very intrigued by the philosophy that you shared about like, the deep sleeping. I think a lot of people are missing that out. We should use technology for our benefit, and I think the focus should be on the 3C, because what's happening is with the advent of AI, which is the artificial intelligence, a lot of people are so much getting scared of the element of AI that, what we are missing out is, as humans, we have another skill which is very powerful, and skill is a new trade in the trade of anything that we do. And in that, I would like to leave all of you with this simple logic of 3 power skills. And what are these 3 power skills? The 3 power skills is, how much curious are you? The curiosity element has to be very high, because technology can do a lot of things for us much easily. Like, imagine about writing a 2-page report. What you need to do today is just go to ChatGPT and say that just write me a 2-page report, and exactly it will write a 2-page report for you. And then, of course, you can do your additions on that. But the life has become so simple with technology. That's just one example. So we can focus more on creativity. That's the first C. The second part, the curiosity part, which is we have to be very curious. And because you're curious, so you can focus more on your creativity part. So that's very critical, because as humans, we have always been creative, and that's what keeps our brain active. So that's the creativity part. And third, and the most critical aspect amongst this 3C is a care. How much are we bringing in care? And I think more and more focus is towards empathy. And as you rightly said, like, we all have to be really worried about people's well-being and our own well-being. And I think empathy will play a big role. So my simple mantra is remain curious, be more creative, and bring more care to the table.
Thank you.
I would like
a
to
quick
add
one,
2
ma'am.
points here, because you have been talking about apps and how it can be used for data points. In fact, when I come across with Fitbit, because it is a wearable device, and it really helps in tracking your day-to-day steps, your heart rates, your sleep patterns. So it has shown, it has given a lot of insights also, positive in a way, because you are not aware. And the moment your dashboard start providing you personalized reports, you get to know, my God, this is something very wrong with me. So I have to work on that. So that way technology becomes a booster for you, but within limits. Everything, you are absolutely right that it should be within limits. And same way I used other tools as well. Suppose Talkspace. So when I used Talkspace, it was game changer. Earlier, post-pandemic, we were taking the services of doctors and psychiatrists who were on the panel for mental well-being. But after using this, Talkspace, what we came across that it is helping you at an individual level coming out of it. Your couples also can come out it, because both of you are going to be at the same time going to be consulted by specialists. Then third, your family members can also use it, because it is more of a subscription-based service. And after that, if you see what kind of goals you wanted to achieve, that can also be measured. So technology is helping us that way, because it helps us in tracking where we really wanted to go, what all needs to be done. So for that, our dashboards are there. And we try to see, and one important point which I would like to mention, after using this Fitbit, our engagement level has also increased by 50%, which is actually commendable. So once you use technology with caution, I'm sure this becomes the game changer. And this is what I wanted to
Thank you.
add.
Thank you. I think in the interest of time, I would like to, now move to the audience. I think we have had a great discussion so far. Any one of you know who would be interested to throw some of the questions quickly, to any of the panelists or to the panel as a whole. And I would request the panelists to kindly, brief the queries in a very short span.
Sure. I think before we take the questions, request you to kindly introduce yourself and the organization. And it will be great if you can specify the questions to which particular panel member.
Sure. Thank you so much for this talk. And my name is Madhur Anand. I'm from Skills Cafe. I work with the growth function. Yesterday we heard a lot about how L&D brings attrition low yesterday we are hearing how well-being affects it. So this is a general question. Do you think well-being or L&D, which can bring more retention in the company? Well-being versus L&D.
Your question, Dr. Raju. Sure.
So my question to you is, do you need water or do you need air? So the answer is very simple. You need both, right? So answer is very simple. You need water also to survive. You need air also to survive. So the answer is, and it's not only two. It can be anything. So let's forget everything else. It's the human element, and anything comes into it, everything is required.
Vipulji, would like to add on something?
I'll just say it's a very important question, and wellness could be a part of the L&D as well. The kind of training program we design, most of the times what I see is they're very customized training programs and a very conventional way of training which has gone over the years. In our organization, we earlier developed after certain trainings, we developed the trainers for carrying out those training for their teams. I particularly took up, there were some leadership training programs, so I developed my own, there was a book of 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John C. Maxwell. So on the basis of that, I developed a training program. It was a volunteer program. Anybody wants to come and join. So how you are going to closely associate it with L&D, make a part of it, I think it's a gain for L&D all the times. So you need not run the wellness programs, right? You can keep the physical aspect to it, the training aspects of you can put into it, and the trainings will have more value. Thank you.
Thank you. I think any further questions from the House?
I would like to add here, because through training, you would like to create a culture of learning in the organization, and which is the most important point. And once you have culture of learning, certainly you would like to learn everything in terms of mental well-being, in terms of physical well-being. And that will give you curiosity for taking you forward. And this is how you are integrated in the organization.
Right.
Next question, please.
Yeah.
In the back. Yeah, sure. Please go ahead.
Hi, this is Shivani. I work as in corporate HR with Calabar Cosmetics. So my question is that we have been, talking about the physical, social, mental, and emotional well-being. So at times, there are organizations, even after providing a flexi work hours, we work in an organization, a segment, even if somebody is, completing 8 hours, people still judge their productivity, when we're sitting at a review table. At times, it is being considered, okay, this person is just, coming at 9, leaving at 5, we doubt the productivity of an employee. So at times it has happened. I think we all agree with that. We all work in such sectors. So what, as an organization, an organization as an HR, we should do, in terms of changing that mindset of the people?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the question. I think, a very important one from the emphasis of, productivity and the efficiency, right? Misplaced emphasis. Yeah. Jawahar would like to address. Yeah.
First of all, it's a very important question. And most of the HR professionals are facing this issue. So as a HR professional, we should keep it in mind one thing, that whether productive people are satisfied or satisfied people are productive. Yes, if productive people are satisfied, you focus on productive. But definitely not all satisfied people are productive. Person comes at 9 o'clock and going at 5 o'clock. He may be satisfied in what he is getting from the organization, but is he productive? But a person who is productive, even after staying after 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, he will be definitely satisfied, because by the end of the day, when he goes home, he will have a sense of fulfillment in his mind that, yes, he has done something for the day. But ultimately, even after your superannuation, this is what going to matter, that what have you done? That's what ikigai people talk about. This is what purpose of life people talk about. When you have purpose in life, everything will go always better. So focus on the purpose of life. Then always it will be better. I think time is also up. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for this wonderful panel here. And fantastic contribution by the panel members and wonderfully moderated by Yashwant Chauhan from GAIL. And now I would request the panel members to kindly be on stage. Would like to call on stage Mr. Sanjay Kamath, Senior Vice President and Business Head, South Asia from Adrenaline E-Systems, to kindly do the honors of felicitating this wonderful panel. Thank you, Sanjay ji. Welcome on the stage again. We'll start with Captain Vipul Sharma from Mitsubishi Heavy Industries, India. A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Captain Vipul Sharma for his wonderful contribution in the panel. Moving next to Dr. Nirupama Srivastava from Kreate Energy. A big round of applause to Dr. Srivastava for her wonderful contribution in the panel. Moving next to Mr. Joy Banerjee from IL&FS Group. A big round of applause to Mr. Joy Banerjee for his wonderful contribution in the panel. Moving next to Dr. Raju Foujdar from 𝐷𝐾 Pharma Group of Companies. A big round of applause for Dr. Raju Foujdar for his wonderful contribution in the panel. Moving next to Dr. Jawahar Ji, Executive Director HR from Power Finance Corporation. A big round of applause for Dr. Jawahar for his wonderful contribution in the panel. And now, ladies and gentlemen, our honorable moderator for the panel, Mr. Yashwant Chauhan, Chief Human Resource Manager from GAIL. A big round of applause for Yashwant Ji for wonderfully moderating this panel. I would now request honorable panel members to kindly step forward for a group photograph. And Sanjay ji, if you could also join them. A big round of applause once again, ladies and gentlemen. First panel of the day 2, panel number 5 on employee wellness and well-being, and a wonderful session we had with these eminent panel members and beautifully moderated by Yashwant Chauhan from GAIL.